He's still in his 30s. He's a young guy.
This person is in his 30s?
Listen. Okay.
I'm sorry.
When you go back through history and you look at...
I thought he was like 55 looking at this photo. That is not the complexion.
All Dallas Cowboys fans look like this. They just reach this ageless point. Like, this is a guy in the box at field level at that Jerry World Stadium where he could be 30, he could be 70. I have no fucking clue, you know? He's somewhere in that range.
It's scary, though.
This is what these people are
We need a skincare routine stat.
So, did you know that Russia is an enigma wrapped in a riddle?
You know, I think about that every day.
You know? Here's to being an enigma, or whatever Trump wrote to Epstein.
I'm an enigma wrapped in a riddle.
Isn't that the most annoying quotation you've ever... That was Winston Churchill. An utterly obnoxious thing to say about anything. A country, a person, it's just obnoxious.
Just don't say it. How about that?
And I love that it has the sound of being clever, but isn't...
It also doesn't... What does that even mean?
It's like... Those Russians are fucked up, basically, is what he's saying.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
And it's like, you're English. Why don't you chill out?
Relax.
Relax, buddy, okay? You got your own problems, too, all right?
Yeah.
Sorry, Grace. Our stalwart engineer today is English.
Insulting her within the first minute.
Right off the bat, we just met, and this is how I'm proceeding, you know? But we're firing on all cylinders today because I am very excited about this story, right?
It's a good one.
And Russia... This is our first international voyage on the outfit.
Yeah. Going global.
Yeah. The world is flat in this episode. And I'm really excited because it is our first story in Russia. What?
Don't even.
What?
You're going to be like, what do you know about Russia?
Not what I was going to ask.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I should now. No. But in 2025, I would say the reputation of Russia in the U.S. is not
great.
Great.
Well, depends on who you ask, right?
I mean, I am a Republican, obviously. So, it is. What are just some of the things you would associate with it at this point?
War.
Okay. We could maybe even stop there, I guess. Yeah. It's not great, right?
It's not great. Not great.
What we have at this point in 2020, I mean, really basically our whole lives.
Mm-hmm.
You and I were born in 1980.
Excuse me?
I didn't say the year. Okay. I'm just like the waning.
I'm 21.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You need the broccoli.
So I don't know what you're
the Zoomer broccoli hair.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was born after 9/11.
It's basically giving Cold War, okay?
100%.
We have always lived with Russia. We've lived with Russia in a weird thing because, in all seriousness, Zoomers only know Putin-era Russia, right? We were born just as the Cold War was ending. So, but have a memory of like Bill Clinton and Yeltsin, the president of Russia in the 90s, getting drunk together. You know?
Yeah.
So that's a
good point.
There was a weird 10-year period in between the end of the Cold War and the rise of Putin that is kind of a lost period. And that is what our story is about today. And I think it's a real tragedy because in the form of this one Republican cowboy that we're going to follow over to Moscow, we're going to see a really tragic story, I think, happening, which is that Russia threw off the shackles of the Soviet Union, had a chance to be something else. And for a lot of reasons, including because of things the United States did, because
naturally,
guys like our guy did.
We love to just get involved and make things worse.
Yeah. It's now what the WikiLeaks cables called a mafia state. That was one of the descriptions the U.S. diplomats gave of Putin's Russia today. And so there's plenty of organized crime along the way. But organized crime, as we know, isn't always so separate from the legal legitimate world, as we know, But it's a tragedy because, as our main character today, Paul Tatum, found, I think there's a lot of things about Russia that are beautiful, and I wish that we had a better relationship with them. And both our leaderships were gone. Anyway,
moving right along.
On that light note, so, Russia, like I said, we got a love of cats.
Yes. We were discussing that before.
Biggest country in the world for cats. Cat ownership. The St. Petersburg Hermitage has a bunch of cats wandering around it. The biggest museum, one of the biggest museums in the world. All these cats live in it. Seriously.
They just love cats.
They love cats.
Okay.
They love Sherlock Holmes. Did you know that?
No.
The best Sherlock Holmes adaptation is from the Soviet Union.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Fun facts.
That's it.
That's really, that's all we got for you.
Novels, music, all this stuff, right? But I think maybe we should start with what really is culture, okay?
Oh, okay. When Dan says that, we're take a hit of your joint.
When the U.S. and yeah, exactly.
So what really is culture?
The U.S. and Russia coming together to create something really important. Grace, could you please roll that video clip of a 1998 commercial?
Oh, here we go.
So we're going to describe what we're seeing here.
Manhattan Transfer / edit.
Pizza Hut International.
Copyright 1998.
Okay, so we have Red Square in Moscow, St. Basil's. And
does this evoke Pizza Hut to you?
It's giving Pizza Hut. This is Mikhail Gorbachev, last leader of the USSR. He's going into Pizza Hut with his granddaughter.
Of course.
It's Gorbachev.
Because of him, we have many things. Like Pizza Hut.
Oh,
now we can all agree. We can all agree.
Hail to Gorbachev, and they're lifting up their slices of pizza. Yeah. That'll help.
This is actually the craziest thing I've ever seen.
It's good friends, great pizza. Thanks, Pizza Hut.
God.
So, yeah.
That's if that is indicative of what we have in store for this ep, I can't wait.
Well, this is it, right? That was in 1998, and it's American capitalism storming into Russia. And to Gorbachev's credit, he did that for a big donation to his charity. Everyone else did it to get rich and greedy. And it led directly to gangsters taking control and ultimately Vladimir Putin becoming dictator.
That ad. Or Pizza Hut.
Well, it is terrible pizza. I don't want to lay it all at their doorstep. Okay. But look, let's go back a little bit before this. When Gorbachev was the last leader of the USSR.
Okay. And when was this?
1991. This is the year the Soviet Union finally collapsed. But before it did collapse, in August of that year, Gorby, he's on vacation. And
where?
The Crimea.
Okay. Naturally.
It's not as hot a destination now, I don't think. But he's on there at his dacha. You know what a dacha is?
I don't.
It's like a country house in Russia. But it's more fun to say that.
It really is. You loved saying that. Just at his dacha.
What, the dacha? Like, like newscasters put that spin on. All right, anyway.
That really beats my Airbnb,
I wonder if you probably could get a dacha on Airbnb now.
I'm sure.
Well, maybe not now. Anyway, however he booked it, Gorbachev is in his dacha, and he is suddenly swarmed by security men. There's a coup taking place.
Oh, God.
Now, what he's been doing since he ascended to power in 1985 is trying to reform the Soviet Union from the inside out. Because the Soviet Union was dying. It was like a, corrupt.
A husk.
It was rusting, sclerotic, corrupt, all these great adjectives.
Like our country.
I don't see the similarities, but it's interesting you do. I think we're making America.
I'm getting canceled. You can keep going.
Cancel might be the best case scenario at this point. But look, he's trying to reform it from the inside out. He knows the economy isn't working. He knows the political system is withering away. And so he's trying to fix it by these reform programs, perestroika, like restructuring the economy, and glasnost, which means you have more freedom of expression. You're not going to get thrown in prison for saying certain things. So there's finally going to be a reaction here, though, because a lot of the hardliners in the Soviet Union think you're selling the whole deal.
Yeah, it's like freedom of speech.
Yeah.
But that's not our thing.
This is not. We invented the gulag.
Yeah.
We're not,
come on.
Not on board with this.
Walk it back.
All right. So they strike back and they're going to launch this coup, topple him, and reassert control over the Soviet Union before he sells the whole shop. However, Gorbachev has a transistor radio, so he's able to stay informed on what's going on via the BBC. And meanwhile, in Moscow, a amazing effort comes together to resist, centered around a politician who has been a thorn in Gorbachev's side this whole time, named Boris Yeltsin. Boris Yeltsin, big shock of white hair, big blustering, tall, charismatic guy, one of the worst drunks in global political history, but we'll find that out later.
Okay. That's a really big title.
I mean, and
there's a lot of competition.
This guy.
Well, of course, Russians know how to do it. You know.
I mean, he had an international incident in Ireland later, which I'm just saying.
So okay, that's
just saying. Game recognized game.
Yeah.
But Yeltsin leads the counterattack. They occupy the parliamentary building, which they call the White House over there, and they put up barricades. And the Red Army closes in, circling it, and they're poised for a bloodbath here, right? A young American from Oklahoma, yeehaw, cowboy up, sneaks through the barricades and into the White House with a cellular phone, or in this case, technically a satellite phone, which in 1991 is not so common,
One of those big ones with the...
It's a brick.
Oh, I love it.
The Patrick Bateman.
Yeah. Weighs 5 pounds.
Yeah. Probably burns your face off when you use it.
Yep.
He gets a satellite phone to them and says, use this. And they say, this is amazing. This is amazing, American, Yankee. I don't know what they... I'm not a screenwriter.
We don't know.
It's lost to history. But they said, we're going to get you safe passage out of here. You stay here. And he stays the night there because they thought that the Red Army was going to attack.
Whoa.
So it was like very high drama stuff.
Ooh.
But because Yeltsin had that line to the outside world, he was able to stay connected, not be cut off. The Red Army is being watched. They know this. So they don't attack. They refuse to attack. The coup fails. It all melts away. Gorbachev resumes power, very weak, and the Soviet Union collapses later that year.
Wow. All because of our guy, Paul.
I'm not going to exaggerate and say it's all because of Paul Tatum, but yes, it is all because of Paul Tatum, the subject of today's episode.
Wow.
So who the hell is this guy? And I want your description of him just off the bat. Who are we looking at here?
Well, let's start with the complexion.
Okay.
Which it's sort of this like all-American corn-fed redness.
Mm-hmm. The British have a great term for this, gammon, which is what they call bacon.
Okay.
It's like gammon-faced.
Yes. But it also could be alcoholism. It's like unclear what's causing this.
A little column A, a little column B.
Yeah, a little column A, a little column B.
Mm-hmm.
And then this oversized, honestly, the outfit is amazing. I mean, the 90s are one of my favorite eras, so I'm a little biased. But he's got this like oversized gray suit.
The suit is absolute fire.
The suit is fire. It's like, are you a pimp? Do you own a basketball team? Mm-hmm. I don't know and I don't care.
Yeah, he is being drafted in the 1994 NBA
100%.
Yep.
The tie is like a mustard yellow tie with colored hearts all over it, and the matching pocket square.
Yep, double-breasted.
Honestly, this guy is a fashion influencer if he's wearing this now.
Yeah, he would. I mean, he was ahead of the curve, right?
Yeah.
And this is our boy Paul Tatum, who at the time that this is kicking off, right? He's still in his 30s. He's a young guy.
This person is in his 30s?
Listen. Okay.
I'm sorry.
When you go back through history and you look at...
I thought he was like 55 looking at this photo. That is not the complexion.
All Dallas Cowboys fans look like this. They just reach this ageless point. Like, this is a guy in the box at field level at that Jerry World Stadium where he could be 30, he could be 70. I have no fucking clue, you know? He's somewhere in that range.
It's scary, though.
This is what these people are
We
like.
need a skincare routine stat.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine the Russian cold didn't help either. But this is our boy, Paul Tatum, right?
Mhm.
Now, what the fuck is this guy doing in Russia, you ask? Well,
Yeah, does not look Russian.
he's not, no. He is our favorite type of subject on this show, which is a hustler, a wheeler dealer. Basically, every episode we do, I feel like, is about someone like this,
Yes,
right?
and that would also describe us.
Yes, I was involved in the Bernie Madoff.
The grind.
That, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a hustler. He is an American entrepreneur, same thing. He, as a young man, is, we would call it crowdsourcing now. He crowdsources for a semester at sea and is selling.
I'm obsessed. Back then, what did that mean?
It meant, in this case, going to like Morocco on a ship.
Yes.
Pretending it's for school.
For sure, but how do you get the money to do that? He's just calling up the friends of his parents. Like, hey.
Well, he had a good scam going, which was he's going to buy duty-free cigarettes and sell them at a 300% markup in Morocco.
Tea.
So the cigarette resales in Tunisia and all this stuff, that's his first big score. Then, of course, he goes back to Oklahoma, oil and gas speculation. There's an oil boom on at that point. Loses $1 million in a bank fraud collapse. Not important. Let's move on.
Of course, there's always like just these like horrible losses.
String after string after string.
You know, but they always, it's a cockroach situation with these guys.
I was going to say like a cat lands on its feet, you know.
That's a good one.
Maybe cockroach is better, you know.
Yeah.
Just survive anything.
Don't put cats in that sort of position to be compared.
We're going to talk more about cats later too.
Yeah.
It's a cat-heavy episode. But he also has a brilliant idea. I love this one. He borrows $10,000 again. And then what does he do with it? He gives it to the Republican Party. Now, that doesn't sound like a great use of things, but what he does is to act like he's a high roller, right?
But $10,000 makes you a high roller back
At that time it did.
Okay.
You know, the 80s, listen, that won't fucking get Don Jr. to look at you now, okay?
Straight up.
All right?
You're not even getting a seat at the gala.
You're not getting one of those shitty little pork chops at the Mar-a-Lago thing, you know?
No.
But it gets him attention. He gets hooked up with only the best people in Republican politics, which are...
But that's pretty smart, though, to be like, I have 10,000. What am I going to do? I'm going to give it to the party, and then I'm going to somehow get all these hookups.
He moves up the Republican Party chain in Oklahoma. He becomes hooked up with some terrific people who went to prison for Richard Nixon. So they're only the best people.
Only the most ethical. Becomes
partners with them. And to the point that he is the head of Americom International Corps in Irvine, California.
Americom International Corps.
Mm-hmm. Very grand sounding. Of course, he's in Orange County.
You just know that company does weird illegal shit with a name like that.
On the outfit. On our, that's interesting. We'll come back to that in a second here. Tatum, I'm reading from the LA Times here, who holes up in a bachelor pad in Laguna Beach, talks about his new project, which is the first American hotel in the Soviet Union to be operated by an American company. This is while he's bidding himself. That
is the kind of idea that you come up with coked out in your bachelor pad in Laguna Beach.
Well, I mean, worse ideas have come out of that bachelor pad.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
You know, this is pretty good. And it started with, by the way, that's while he's auctioning himself off as a bachelor for a date where he's going to take the date to Moscow. Which again...
For charity.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Sort of. But this is a genuinely good idea. And here's how he had it, which is in 1985, he went on a junket with these other Republican Party hacks to the Soviet Union. And it was the year that Gorbachev had ascended to power. He was a reformer. Margaret Thatcher famously said, "This is a man we can do business with." Reagan was trying to cultivate a relationship with it. And there was a sense that there might be some rapprochement happening in the Cold War. You know?
A little this, a little that.
This guy was the youngest leader they'd had. They'd had two leaders before that who both died very quickly. They were elderly. This guy was sort of new and vital and all this. So Tatum goes on this trip And he says later to Fortune magazine, "It was as if I found myself standing on a mountaintop from which I could see everything, my past, my present, and my
Oh.
future." Because what he saw was what he called a new America, a
Hmm.
new frontier. Now, every fucking dickhead that we have to deal with nowadays says this about Mars, space, AI. It's all new
Mhm.
frontiers. This was a superpower that had no foreign direct investment from the West, right? So they really are talking about a new
Yeah.
frontier
Yeah, it's actually legitimate.
that they can exploit,
Mhm.
It has incredible mineral wealth, oil, gas, diamonds, all these things. And
Cats.
cats, blini, the turnovers. You ever eat Russian food?
No,
Not
I don't
important.
want to.
It's good.
Okay.
It's hearty. Um, and he also sees when he's staying there, the hotels there fucking suck. The Soviet
Hmm.
Union, I remember I had a friend back in Chicago who grew up in the Soviet Union, and there was only one type of guitar he could get.
Oh God.
Like he liked playing, guitar.
Yeah.
And there was one factory that made one guitar. Now, our system has a lot of issues. Consumer choice is not really among them.
Yeah, we can't endorse.
We get a lot
but
of-
at least we've got
we get
some
a lot of-
guitar options.
A lot of cheap shit,
Yeah.
I mean, not anymore, but yeah, so that was the kind of thing that was like novel still at that time, right?
Wow.
And there was one like company dealing with international hotels in tourists. They have this hulking monstrosity half finished on the Moscow River in the heart of Moscow. And he puts together a package with his cronies.
It's like we gotta snatch this up.
We're going to snatch this up. We're going to build this into a 430 room hotel. And we're going to do it with Radisson, reputable hotel company.
For sure.
And it's going to be the first Western style hotel. And it's going to be the beachhead for American capitalism. And to his credit, he's doing all this as the Soviet Union is not collapsed yet, right? So he's
planting the seeds.
Yeah, he is farsighted enough to see this, right?
Right.
And 1989 is when the Warsaw Pact collapses, the Berlin Wall falls, it starts to fall to pieces, right? But his idea, it's still a good one. There's more interest rushing in.
Yeah, and all like they're going to need a place to stay.
That's right.
It's actually a really smart business idea.
And it is an instant success, right? All these companies move in. General Motors puts their offices in the hotel. Cargill, which is an agricultural concern here in the US, a major one, eyeing the Russian wheat fields, they move in. The BBC, NBC News put their bureaus in there.
They've got a great business center.
They do have a great business center. They have secretaries who speak English and Russian. Huge, you know. And all the money flows not into his office in Moscow, but in Irvine, in California. And the reason for that is it's more secure that way, right?
Wow.
So Tatum says, I doubt if the Soviets will jeopardize a venture that guarantees them millions of dollars every year. So that's the other thing, right? Half the partnership in the hotel is the Soviet government, right? So he has the best of both worlds.
Oh, wow.
Right? So instant success, it's praised by Bush and Gorbachev.
And now is he living there?
And he is tripping the life fantastic there,
Oh,
right?
Is he a single guy?
Oh, yeah. And,
oh, boy.
He is cutting a swath of devastation through the singles market. I mean, he's paying them. But look,
sure.
That aside, he's sowing his oats.
Yeah, he's having a great time.
He's having a great time. And he brings his family over from America and they tour the country in his helicopter.
Oh, wow.
Which formerly belonged to the Soviet premier, right? The nannies for the kids, for his nieces and nephews, are former beauty queens.
Of course. Of course.
This guy's living the fantasy. And if this 90s guy fantasy wasn't enough, he gets to meet Sharon Stone when she visits Russia and stays in his hotel.
No.
We're talking Basic Instinct era Sharon Stone.
Yeah, the best era.
The Sharon Stone era.
Oh, God.
Right? This guy could die happy, and he might, because one thing that is noticed by his relatives when they're visiting, they go to the one of the street markets that's popped up in Moscow at this time. And the first sign of, like, the lowest sign of capitalism in this new Russia that was forming were the kiosks, places where small-time people could just sell one little
Yeah.
thing, vodka, tissues, like
A
whatever,
little flea market situation.
Yeah, this is like the, capitalism in its shanty phase,
Right. Right.
And what his relatives see is one of those shop owners getting the shit beaten out of him by some gangsters. So
Oh, that's a nice sight.
what's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's another side to all of this, right? Which is, as the Soviet Union's collapsing, and by the end of 1991, it finally does collapse, begins its transition to democracy, if you want to call it that. Boris Yeltsin, the guy we mentioned earlier, he's elected president. And the problem there is he's as unscrupulous as they come. Oddly, Gorbachev, even though he's, leader of the Soviet Union, he's kind of a noble figure. There's a great documentary on him by Werner Herzog, if you're interested. Whereas Yeltsin has no scruples whatsoever.
Uh-oh.
And so things are proceeding, but Bill Clinton, Bubba.
Of course, Bubba's in the story. This is the 90s.
They're doing a fucking victory lap. We won the Cold War,
Oh my God, yep.
And what they do is they say, we're gonna make Russia a capitalist economy like everything else, right? It's this period where there's such heady optimism about, we're gonna get rid of welfare and we're gonna get rid of this and the market's gonna fix everything. And the market is gonna fix everything because this is a great book. It's about the use of force in the making of Russian capitalism. It's called Violent Entrepreneurs.
Wow.
Because
I love that term.
It's a great term. This is who the energy is with.
Yeah, this is who comes in.
Right? Who is best positioned to take the reins here on this new capitalism? No one's making the rules anymore. No one's guaranteeing anything. You don't have that force at the center like the Soviet Union, right?
Right.
It's going to be gangsters.
Of course. That's a violent entrepreneur. That's really just a mobster.
It is, but that's an interesting point too, which is, nationalists always like to say, oh, our country is just this way or that way. And it obscures the fact that the Soviet Union, for instance, and Russia is incredibly diverse. It has many, many ethnicities, many religions, many backgrounds. And the Soviet Union was always kind of keeping a lid on all of that.
Right.
You couldn't express yourself. You couldn't do this. You couldn't do that. Now with it off, everyone's coming out of the woodwork to get their piece.
Good and bad.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, for instance, you have breakaway republics forming. You have Islamic extremism, increasing. All these national movements forming, right? So that's going to be pressure. But you also have organized crime. This is a book that I love, Russian Criminal Tattoo. And this details what the Vory look like.
Whoa.
The Vory being the men who follow the code. And I wonder...
Get right.
Okay, all right. This sort of tattoo, right? Now, these are really gangsters formed in...
I mean, this just looks like guys at Silver Lake.
Yeah, I know. They've really stolen valor.
They really have. Oh, cat tattoos. Yeah, this really looks like, you know.
But look, so these guys they're formed in the gulags of Russia, of the Soviet Union, I should say. They're very tough. They're very scary. But they're just one type of gangster. If you've seen the movie Eastern Promises, it's a very good depiction of this, right? And so, yeah, they're well positioned to take over, right? But they're not that sophisticated, I mean, they sort of are, but like they're terrifying looking, right? They're covered in tattoos.
It's kind of a neo-Nazi look,
That's part of it as well. So that is a thing. So you have them. That's not the end of gangsters in Russia. You also have all these other ethnic mafias, the Georgians, the Chechens, right? And they come to town too because they're like, we're tougher than these guys. We can take over, And so they're doing their thing, right? Russian Jews, another interesting aspect, right? Discriminated against for years under the Soviet Union. Many of them emigrated. Many of them were deprived of opportunities to rise in the Soviet system. So they turned to what they would call in the Soviet Union profiteering, right? Black market goods and trade.
Yeah.
And this is, a type of speculation that was popular, right? So that's another aspect.
How did they do that?
Like,
exactly.
For instance, illegally selling goods, illegally importing goods and selling them in the country.
A Hardy chest.
Cars, blue jeans, radios, things like that,
Mhm.
Well, by the time the Soviet Union collapses, these guys have the practical know-how and connections to go big with it, right? Because what's happening is the shock therapy of the economic system is happening, where everything's going to be privatized. Everything's going to go to the free market.
Mhm.
And it's all with this weak president, Yeltsin, who in 1993 does a self-coup. So the guy who came to power standing on a tank, right, who the Red Army didn't attack, he shells that same building.
Okay, I need more explanation of a self-coup.
Yeltsin is democratically elected, right, thanks to guys like Paul Tatum. And then when the parliament has the temerity, the audacity to say, I don't think you can do that. He kills them all.
Oh,
right?
Cool.
He shells the building that he himself occupied a couple years earlier, right?
Got it.
That even the Red Army didn't want to do, right?
And is their relationship? I mean, Paul Tatum probably loves him because he's like, I can get away with my shit with this guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, at first, look, the 50% ownership of the hotel that was going to the Soviet Union, at first it's no big deal. It's passed to the city of Moscow. And then it starts to get a little fuzzy because, all right, the Soviet Union was strong, was a power.
Right.
Who's my partner now? Well, it turns out my partner is going to be whoever the city of Moscow decides is my partner.
Oh, boy.
And that would be our next friend, Mr. Umar Disraoff.
Oh.
Now, I don't think you can entirely judge someone by their haircut. But I would like you to describe for our listeners what we're seeing here.
Well, it's not a bowl cut.
It's not a bowl cut. It's
sort of a Karen haircut. Like if this was on a woman in 2025.
I really don't like how close he is to me. Isn't that a little... He looks like he's looking right at me.
The thing about this haircut is like depending upon who it's on, it completely changes. Like this could be like iconic.
Who would that be
LA
good on?
lesbian. This could also be a Karen.
So if Tig Notaro...
This could be like a hip guy with like little hoop earrings. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of ways it could go.
He's looking at me like he's hearing you and he doesn't like it.
He doesn't like it.
Notice the tie. I only noticed the tie last night. The tie is a choo-choo train tie.
Okay.
This is a criminally insane person. This is what that is.
Let's just that is what it is. It is also the kind of person that's like, you have bodies in your fridge, for sure.
Well, it's interesting you say that because Umar, at the time he's appointed to be the steward of the 50% stake of the hotel owned by the city of Moscow, he's 37. He is the manager of one of the many clothing boutiques in the hotel.
Okay. Oh.
In case you couldn't tell. He's a Chechen gangster. And
cool.
He is almost certainly tied up with the Chechen mafia. And the underworld is being, I'm sure, kicking up their stake to the mayor of Moscow who put them in there. Okay? He's classed as a wealthy businessman from Chechnya. He's politically connected. And this guy is a scary dude.
Yeah.
So this starts a struggle for control of the hotel and its riches that gets very comical very quickly.
Right.
First, the American manager of the hotel doesn't get his visa and isn't going to get his visa.
Why?
Because they pulled the string and they said, get this guy the fuck out of here. Right?
We got to put big boy in.
Right? So it's going to be his management now.
That
happens.
Wow.
Right? And then there is an accusation by Tatum that this Russian manager is embezzling, which he probably is.
Sure.
So then Tatum gets locked out of the hotel. So then in June of 1994, that year, Tatum re-enters the hotel with 19 bodyguards.
19.
Hey,
Not
19.
20.
At 20, you have to pay a different rate.
Got it.
He got under the wire, right? And I'm going to read this from the Minnesota Star Tribune. Paul Tatum is out on his ear, at least for a while, with only his Planet Hollywood jacket and his outrage to comfort him as he stands locked outside the Radisson's Slavianskaya Hotel in Moscow. Tatum does not believe he belongs among the throngs of Ukrainians who swarm through the Kievskaya train station just on the other side of the fence. He is, after all, a partner in the joint venture. Quote, they claim I haven't paid my hotel bill. Now I'm living in these empty rooms.
I love the accent.
Right? Even worse, he doesn't have his wardrobe. I haven't had any clothes for 3 days.
Oh, how dare they?
Right? Just his Planet Hollywood jacket.
I love that. That was such a burn.
That Planet Hollywood.
That subtle burn. But that Planet Hollywood jacket would go for thousands on eBay.
A bomber jacket, absolutely.
Yeah. I want that so bad.
However, he swears this is still entrepreneur's heaven.
Oh yeah, still great. Nothing to see here.
He makes matters worse, possibly, once he's back in the hotel with his 19 bodyguards. The police storm the lobby, arrest a bunch of the gangsters there, because there's all these gangsters now hanging out in the lobby.
Russian gangsters.
Yeah, in these black trench coats and leather jackets and all this. And
yeah, they're setting up shop.
Yeah. Tatum is being extorted now, and they're saying, like, tell you what, you can buy us out, but for more money than the entire hotel is worth. We'll sell you our 50% for that. And he's like, I'm being extorted. Yeah. I'm just going to keep doing that accent.
Okay, I love it. I love it.
But also now Tatum's becoming a bit of a crook because he's supposed to be kicking.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's no way he's like the good guy here. I'm sure he's doing a bunch of shit.
Radisson is like, where's our fucking money? You know?
Radisson is not pleased.
Like, what are you doing over here?
What are you doing over there? Banging the Moscow supermodels?
I mean,
that's what he's busy.
That is what he's doing, right? And so Radisson is like, we just wanted a hotel. We didn't want to get in a
good
mob
old
war.
Radisson.
They're a bunch of squares in Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly. They're not into this.
They're not into this.
They're not the Hilton. You know?
Who's this? Who's the spiciest hotel chain? Who's going to go for that?
I think.
You think Hilton?
I do.
Old Conrad Hilton.
Had
that dog in him.
I think he did.
Might have. But Radisson, on the other hand, says, and I quote in a court filing, they say they ask a U.S. court to release it from, quote, the rotting corpse of the partnership.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's really good. Your lawyer is gonna. That's who just describing this in the filing. I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a rotting corpse of a partnership.
Yeah.
I mean, could it get any worse?
We're being ripped off. Yeah. We're being so ripped off.
That is so good, Dan.
Really? Excuse me. Really an incredible guy. But
oh, that's so good.
We'll come back to him.
Okay.
But yeah, the rotting corpse.
The rotting corpse.
So Paul Tatum literally drills back into his suite in the hotel with a power drill. Because he's like, this is getting...
Oh, Oklahoma, where the wind comes.
Did you ever do that in high school?
Wait, what are the lyrics?
That's more than I know.
Okay.
I think you got it right, though. But here's the thing. Everyone's telling him, get the fuck out of here. Go home. Go back to Oklahoma.
Yeah, cut bait.
Yeah. Go back to Oklahoma, put on a production of Oklahoma.
Yeah, but with these guys, there's always this like total overestimation of how badass they are. And then they double down. So he's going to be like, oh, I can take Russian mobsters.
He is doing the thing I've seen of Texans fighting in Whataburger. Like, hold me back, bro. I'm not letting that go.
No.
I'm not doing, he can't end. He's right that if he leaves Russia, he won't be allowed back in. Right?
Okay.
If he leaves the hotel, he's worried he won't be allowed back in. And so something really strange is happening where he's now a prisoner of his own hotel. He is living...
Sort of beautiful, Cinematic, really.
I mean, I would not mind this in a way. I'll describe what it's like.
If I'm getting room service, fine.
Room service actually is cut off by the Chechen gangsters.
They're like...
That is not a joke.
No more fries for you.
Yeah.
No more mid fries.
Niet on $25 cheeseburger.
Okay, so he's ensconced in this room.
He has 2 suites. Okay. He has to have takeout brought to him. Still not bad. Only has Star Trek VHSs to watch. That's worse.
That's an incredible detail.
Not into that.
No, I'm not into that either.
Not into that. And even worse, things are starting to change in Russia for ways that are not totally on board with them. And I think we can trace this in a series of covers of The Economist, the British magazine. They go from, in the space of a year, their cover, the wrong man for Russia, and that's Yeltsin, to the only man for Russia.
Wow.
This is in a year. I found this yesterday. I could not believe it.
Wait, how is that? That can't be right.
This is real. And here's why. Okay. Thank you very much. So what happened was the fear was that all this capitalist free-for-all shit is going to go away, right? We need to get behind this guy.
Because the mobsters are taking over.
Right. Mobsters or not, we have to back this guy or capitalism is going bye-bye in Russia. We're going to get the Soviet Union back, right?
The Radisson is shutting down.
We're going to lose the Radisson. We worked really hard to get that.
We really did.
And the other thing that's happening is these gangsters are becoming really powerful and really respectable. So a plan is formed with the U.S.'s implicit support and backing.
Okay.
These gangsters / oligarchs they're called the Seven Bankers. There's really more like 12 of them. They say to Yeltsin, we are going to back your reelection.
Okay.
We're going to back up the armored car full of money to you. And ultimately they give him somewhere in the 9 figures, like 100.
If you just go the fuck away?
Better. If you stay where you are.
Oh, and let us
do things.
Okay, that's actually kind of sick.
Drink as much vodka as you want. Fall off snow machines. Both of these things happened. Do whatever the fuck you want. We're gonna handle it. Don't worry about it. We have one thing we need.
One little thing.
And that's everything.
And that's you let us do whatever the fuck we want.
And the other thing you're going to do for us is you're going to sell off to us for pennies on the dollar all of the industries of the Soviet Union, all of the natural resources of the former Soviet Union for pennies on the dollar. So overnight, these guys go from...
And he says yes.
Oh, yeah. He says yeah. And his family says yes, too, who are incredibly corrupt. So overnight, these guys go from being just crooks and gangsters and contract murder hirers and all this stuff to aluminum magnates, nickel mine magnates. They are controlling oil, natural gas, diamonds, all the aluminum, all these natural...
industry.
Everything. Heavy industry, cars, all these things.
Insane.
And, some of them become, for a time, Moscow was the most billionaires in the world, right? And so guys like Paul Tatum, who thought they were going to be that guy, they're not necessary.
He is just fucked.
He's so boned,
Yeah. I mean, why doesn't he make a deal with the mobsters?
Who the fuck needs this guy?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Go back to watching, Oklahoma, Texas games. You
Get
fucking dickhead, Go get drunk on a boat on Lake Havasu.
And get a sunburn.
And get a horrible sunburn.
With the sunglasses.
Yeah.
With the what's it? You know what I'm talking
Croquis?
about. No, where there's like a white, because they were wearing the Oakleys. So there's like a white stripe.
Take a selfie in your fucking truck and get angry online. Yeah. Like everyone else over there, But he doesn't do that. And so the thing that's happening is he's trying to whip up support for this campaign and no one gives a shit. The U.S. just wants stability in Russia. They want Yeltsin there no matter how bad he is. They don't care that gangsters are taking over everything. They don't care that gangsters are taking over the hotel. And Tatum is anticipating a visit from Clinton in 1996. Clinton is even going to go to Russia to help Yeltsin win re-election, right?
Wow.
And Tatum says, this is from the New York Times, he's determined to hold out as long as it takes. He has no intention of lying low. In anticipation of Clinton's visit, Tatum printed hundreds of slick, thick booklets documenting his dispute. Across the cover title, quote, "The Environment for Business Success in Moscow," he printed in blood red Russian script, "Certificate of Death." So that'll do it.
This is like in Jerry Maguire. It was just a mission statement where he's like printing out his mission statement and putting it's like, no, bro.
Mm-hmm. Paul Tatum also reminds me of
I'm not reading that.
Reminds me of the kid in that. The head weighs 5 pounds or whatever.
Oh, that guy. That guy was so cute.
Well, I never actually saw it. I'm just parroting 90s trivia. That's
insane.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't understand how your brain formed without seeing that.
What was I watching in the 90s? CNN.
Oh, that explains so much.
No, I wasn't actually watching CNN. I was watching Rocco's Modern Life, whatever the fuck. But look, this is not going to work.
No, it doesn't sound like it's going to be good for him.
No one cares about you. You know,
well, does this hotel even have any power anymore? Like, do they need it? Do the mobsters even, are they in there using it?
Yeah, it's still money, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
And like, he's being edged out. You know, he writes an open letter to the mayor of Moscow, like, the world now waits. The message that
Russia... He writes a Facebook post on the mayor of Moscow's wall. That's the equivalent.
He has checked in at Standing Rock and says, the message that Russia is the place of successful investment needs to come. That Moscow is where you can come and build your dreams and then get a profit from doing it without someone showing up at your door to take it away in the name of your own protection. So, bro,
take an L.
Take the L. But he has high hopes. There's going to be an international arbitration in court in Sweden. He's hoping to get enough money together to get to that, win a victory, beat these. Like, it's always something with this guy. So he's selling freedom bonds to pay for it.
Freedom bonds?
It's a whole thing. But look, finally he gets a call from an angel investor. Something that's promising. Promising enough that he leaves the hotel with 2 bodyguards. He's going to meet this guy. A couple places have been proposed. One is that subway station across from the hotel I mentioned. Another is an American-style diner in Moscow. But he
hasn't left the hotel in a while, I'm assuming.
No. His car has been taken by the gangsters, so he's on the metro. As he's descending the steps to the Kievskaya station...
Oh, this is going to be good.
Why? Does something bad sound like it's going to happen?
Yeah, no, not at all.
Well, there's a figure holding a large plastic bag who lifts the plastic bag up to his shoulder in a way that you lift a plastic bag to your shoulder normally, and rattles off about 12 shots from a Kalashnikov, the famous AK-47, firearm that won the Soviet Union. Plenty of conflicts all over the world. Drills about 5 of them into the back of his neck. So this guy could ball. This guy had game,
Yeah.
He does that to avoid the bulletproof vest Tatum's wearing.
Oh, wow.
So this is a pro. And Tatum collapses to the bottom of the steps to the metro. For years after, there were still bullet holes in the subway station, just unrepaired. He was 41 at this time. One of the bodyguards said that Tatum whispered to him the name of the Chechen gangster he thought was responsible, who may or may not have been our friend. I don't know if he was alive when he said that.
Yeah, that seems a little convenient.
But likewise, to the fact that no one really cared about this guy and his lonely struggle here against these gangsters, the timing was also very professional. It was November 3rd, 1996, the week of the U.S. presidential election.
Oh, God, here we go.
So not just the Yeltsin re-election, but the U.S. presidential election. It happens on a long weekend. It happens when there's not a U.S. ambassador in office in Russia. So it goes away like that. There's some coverage. No one asks too many questions. The investigation finds no one.
No one gives a shit about this guy.
They find the getaway car parked 10 minutes away. No prints. It had been bought with cash at a flea market the week before. And there the trail ends. The hitman never identified. Probably one of the many professional hitmen working in Moscow at that time. Hundreds of bankers had been killed in the years prior. Businessmen, politicians, journalists.
I think if I had to pick any type of hitman, a Russian one, I'm going to trust the most.
They are, the Afghansi are among them. The Afghansi being the Afghan war veterans who returned from that war. I had a roommate in grad school whose father was in the Red Army in Afghanistan. One of my classmates was a U.S. soldier who'd been in Afghanistan.
Whoa.
I thought that was the weirdest thing. So those guys returned. Underworld hit. It's a buyer's market for hitmen.
Yes,
right?
It's a really good place to look for one.
And so there's some lawsuits after, there's some speculation about.
What about Tatum's family? Do they
They're
care?
the only ones who care.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And they say the mayor of Moscow, right? This corrupt figure, Yuri Luskov, he was behind it. Umar Disraoff, the Chechen mobster in the hotel, he was behind it, right? It was all these guys coming together to kill him before that international arbitration, right? Seize control of the hotel, which they do. Interestingly, the case proceeds even after Tatum died, and he loses in that international arbitration.
Oh my God.
They say Tatum's dishonest. He's a liar, Kind of interesting.
Wow, that is interesting.
But it's inconvenient for anybody to look much closer. And really the significance of it is Tatum thought his being an American would protect him, right? And one of the police who investigated this says...
Why did he think that?
They don't kill Americans there, right? They kill Russians. They kill Vlad Listiev, who's like the Walter Cronkite of Russia, but they're not going to kill me because I have an American passport and that makes me bulletproof. There'd be too much. I'm special, right?
Yeah.
And as one of the cops said, he forgot where he lived. He tried to act in Moscow like he would act in the States. Yep. Even his business partner said that, One of his partners said he thought as long as he could make sure it was above the radar in the American press, he was safe.
You're not in Kansas anymore, Tatum.
No. And in fact, this is a trend that continues to get worse to the point that Paul Klebnikov, who's the head of the editor-in-chief of the Russian edition of Forbes, about 10 years later, he's murdered, right? Now, this is an American citizen we're talking about here. So it's just going to get worse and worse.
Right.
But this is par for the course. Paul Tatum is not special, right? And him bragging like he had been doing that, he had information on the city government.
No, that's not...
This is a death warrant, right? And this is what I mean when I talk about, this is such an interesting fulcrum in history because, the spy novelist John le Carre, he said later, maybe instead of that Pizza Hut shit, right? Maybe we should have given our expertise, our aid, our compassion to Russia, Not
our shittiest pizza.
We're going to let the market fix all this, right? Maybe we're going to be like actual friends,
Well, but it's America.
Right.
Why would we do that?
Another fucking buck to be made. And the way le Carre puts it in one of his books that I love is he says, the right side lost, but the wrong side won. Which I think nails it, right? Because all this greed, all this violence that they unlocked, all this gangsterism, it has an end game that they didn't see coming. In 1998, the economy totally collapses in Russia. Everyone loses their savings, right? These fucking oligarchs become even richer, right? And it's getting to the point that Yeltsin is such an embarrassment, he might get assassinated if he doesn't step down.
Wow.
And the oligarchs are worried about this because they don't want to be torn apart.
Yeah, they're
right?
like, this guy's
our protector.
Yeah.
So they said, we have to find someone to replace him to keep this horrible system going, who's not going to be too pushy, who's bland, who we can sort of control, but who has credibility. Someone that's like not, very special, a spy chief, a guy who does judo, who has some charisma, named Vladimir Putin.
Oh, boy.
He's got some plans of his own because what he does, once those oligarchs put him in, he has this idea that I'm going to bring them all to heel. The same way Paul Tatum thought, I'm going to be at the fulcrum of this as the capitalist, right? He's going to recreate the Soviet system, closed, oppressive, all that stuff. But the businessmen are going to be under him.
Yeah.
We're going to have elections and people that we stage manage. So for instance, Umar Disraoff runs against him for president in 2000. Not really.
What happens to him?
Well, he becomes very politically connected under Putin, He runs against him, not as an enemy, as an ally. It's just for show.
Oh, it's all fake. It's like, well, you're going to win and then you'll just give me a job.
Yeah. Disraoff becomes very influential in Chechnya, becomes very wealthy, and then loses it all due to cocaine addiction and firing his gun into his roof. And
oh, okay.
He has a gangster's end,
Yeah.
Now he lives just with his kitten, he says. I'm not even fucking joking. That's what he says he does now.
Really?
He lives in a studio apartment with a kitten. He's still alive. How is he still alive?
I don't know. I was going to say, what?
So that's
I'm
the
surprised
lesson.
no one killed him.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Cat
I
with
guess
9
they're like,
lives.
who gives a shit about you?
Right. So at the end of it, we have this guy who out-capitalisms the capitalists. He's at the top of it. He's the czar now. All these billionaires either go along with it or they can leave the country. And if they really put up a fight, he'll throw them in fucking prison, which is what he does to the richest man in Russia.
Oh my God.
And everyone in Russia, by the way, says, that is fucking awesome. I love that you did that. These guys, lowered our life expectancy in the 90s.
And so this all goes back
to Paul Tatum.
to Paul Tatum. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
To the Radisson.
And now we're living with the consequences of this system curdling, right? Because Putin eventually starts getting high on his own supply, isolated, crazy, starts invading Ukraine. Like he believes his own spin now. And he's fucking insane. He's like Norma Desmond in Sunset Boulevard. He's in that weird house alone, And,
he makes some friends who have similar.
He cultivated leaders in Germany and Italy. And then maybe there's another guy that possibly envies Putin and his power.
Also a narcissist.
It's really really an incredible thing we're doing.
It's an incredible relationship.
We're doing a really incredible, disgusting thing being done.
Wow.
And
I feel so blessed to see this for the first time.
What? Me doing a bad Trump impression?
Yeah. I don't know if it's bad.
Well,
I can tell you've been practicing in front of the mirror.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We love that. We love that. Should we do it more? I don't know.
Insane.
Thank you.
On
Goodbye.
that note, bye.